Picture this. You've just met someone new, maybe in a work setting or even a friend of a friend. They're charming, seem reliable, and over time, you start trusting them more and more. Slowly, they begin to know more about you, your habits, your preferences, your weaknesses. Before you know it, you're relying on them for advice and direction. It feels good, comfortable. But here's the catch. They're not just your friend. They now have power over you. That's the power of trust. It's a two-way street. But what if one person is driving the entire direction? Today, we're diving into how Ayanokoji from Classroom of the Elite builds unbreakable trust and uses it as his greatest weapon to outsmart others. By the end of this, you'll know exactly how he does it and how you can apply these lessons in your own life. Trust isn't something that happens overnight. Ayanokoji understands that building trust is about patience and subtlety. He doesn't rush into things or make bold claims. Instead, he lets people feel like they're naturally getting to know him. This approach is what makes his trust so unbreakable. People believe that their trust in him was earned, not forced. In most relationships, we tend to give away trust too quickly. We're eager to bond with people, to feel connected. But Ayanokoji takes the opposite approach. He lets trust develop slowly, which makes it feel more genuine to the other person. The key here, patience. When trust is built slowly, it's far stronger than when it's rushed. Control what you reveal. The less they know, the better. Ayanokoji is a master at making others believe they know him, without actually revealing anything significant. He gives just enough information for others to think they have a deep understanding of his character, but in reality, they know very little. This is a powerful tactic. When people feel like they know you, they're more likely to trust you. But the less they truly know, the harder it is for them to predict your next move. Ayanokoji plays his cards close to his chest, letting people think they've seen the whole hand, when in fact, he's holding back the most important details. Most important things Ayanokoji understands is that actions build trust more effectively than words. He doesn't make promises or over-explain himself. Instead, he quietly steps in when needed, solving problems or helping in subtle ways. This makes people trust him because they see results, not just hear empty words. A lot of people try to build trust by talking, promising they'll do something, or telling you about their qualities. But words are easy. Ayanokoji lets his actions do the talking, and because of that, people naturally trust him without realizing how little he's actually said. The view Libri is a tool. Use it wisely now. Here's where things get interesting. Ayanokoji knows that to build deep trust, sometimes you have to show vulnerability. But here's the catch. He does it strategically. He chooses the right moments to reveal a weakness, a fear, or a personal story. This makes the other person feel closer to him, like they've seen a side of him that no one else has. But in reality, that vulnerability is just another tool. He never reveals anything that could actually harm him. Instead, he shares just enough to make others drop their guard. This deepens the trust they feel for him, while still keeping him in full control of the situation. Influence without breaking trust. Here's where things get even more strategic. Once Ayanokoji has earned someone's trust, he uses it to his advantage. But the way he does it is subtle, almost invisible. He never blatantly betrays someone's trust. That would be too obvious. Instead, he uses the trust he's built to influence their decisions, all while making them think they're in control. For example, he might suggest a course of action, knowing that the other person will follow his lead because they trust his judgment. Or he might withhold information, guiding the situation in a direction that benefits him. The beauty of Ayanokoji's approach is that he never directly breaks trust. He simply bends it to suit his needs. While Ayanokoji is a master at building trust, he's equally skilled at protecting himself from trusting others too much. He knows that trust is a double-edged sword. If you give someone too much power, they can use it against you. That's why he never fully trusts anyone, no matter how close they seem. This doesn't mean he's paranoid. It just means he's cautious. Ayanokoji always keeps a level of emotional distance, which allows him to stay objective and in control. This way, even if someone were to betray him, he's never left vulnerable. He's always prepared for the possibility. Trust is control. When used wisely, Ayanokoji doesn't just build trust for the sake of relationships. He uses it as a tool for control. Once someone trusts him completely, they're more likely to follow his lead, often without question. This gives him the upper hand in almost any situation. When you trust someone deeply, you're more willing to go along with their suggestions, even if you're unsure. That's the kind of power Ayanokoji wields. He builds trust not just for safety, but for control. And because his methods are so subtle, people never see it coming. Ayanokoji teaches us that trust is one of the most powerful tools in human relationships. When built carefully and strategically, trust can give you control over situations and people without them even realizing it. But the key is knowing when to give trust and when to hold back. Ayanokoji's mastery lies in his ability to build unbreakable trust, use it to outsmart others, and protect himself from ever being fully vulnerable. So, the next time you find yourself in a position of trust, ask yourself, are you using it to your advantage, or are you leaving yourself exposed? Be like Ayanokoji. Build trust strategically, use it wisely, and never let it control you. Be elite. Stay elite.